Welcome. I'm your host, Amirah Jocelyn, and you're listening to the Anomaly's podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about why is high school and college so glamorized, based off the last podcast or blog episode we made. Also, today is a video podcast, so I'm glad you're here to listen. But I also am here with a guest speaker.
Hi, I'm Kiara, and yeah, I'm here to speak about my experience.
Yeah. So I have only been in the public school system, except for in like real life school, whatever, person school, except for COVID, where I was on Google Meets and stuff like that for like a year or so. But Kiara has experience being homeschooled and doing mostly just online classes, but also in person classes. So I'm gonna be asking her basically just any questions I have off the top of my head. That you'd want to hear. And just basically we're just both gonna pick at each other's brains on what we think is like wrong with like the college and high school system, and like what could be fixed, what could be better, and like why is it so glamorized, because it's not all cupcakes and rainbows and like what it's seen in like High School Musical and Euphoria and Gossip Girl and just any other like show that you see online is completely different and it's not talked about enough. With that, we were already kind of talking about some things, but based off the layout of the post, the first thing we talk about is the facade that the school system kind of has. From growing up, you kind of like watch like a lot of like Disney and like new Nickelodeon shows that are based in like high school or just like any school system, whatever. And you know, they got friends, they got the gossip, and they got like crushes or whatever. But like the way it's portrayed is way more dramatic and like romanticized than it is in real life. I feel like, I don't know. What was your experience being in like high school?
High school is not as it is on the movies. It's very depressing. There's like nothing. There is stuff, but like most schools does not really have that many like things to do like it shows in the movies, like all these clubs and like stuff. Like, or at least the schools that I went to, there was like nothing to do except for like one sport. Like it wasn't really that good, and yeah, like I don't know. I didn't, and I wasn't even really in any like sports or groups or anything. But like the people that were, like they didn't like being in them because it was like either stressful or like it was just too much, and like they ended up not being in the groups or sports anymore. I did do one sport, but that was not with school. But anyways, um, I switched to online school in sophomore year, the beginning of it, because I switched schools to this other school, and it was really depressing, and there was just like no one there. It was just not it. And I was just new, and like everybody was just, it was just like the same people there every day. Like there was no like nothing. Everybody was just boring, and like I don't know, I just don't like school. So I switched to online, and it actually like talked about stuff in like the real world and like stuff that you should actually need to know about when you're finished with school. And I graduated from it. Then what is that? I graduated earlier than regular people.
I don't know. I was like, I don't know if it has like a specific name. It's like you just kind of like,
Early graduator.
yeah, early graduate. I don't know. Early release.
Yeah.
That sounds like if you had like a weather problem at school. It's like early release day, early release from prison. That's what we're gonna call it.
But yeah, school was just in-person school was like there is pros and cons of both. Like online school, you're kind of just by yourself all the time, but like I'm used to like being, that sounds like so depressing, but like I'm used to like
Yes.
being like I like being alone like more than being in school, because like in school I feel like there's just, it just feels like weird. Like I feel like I'm like just always be have like a light on me or something. Like it just feels like I'm like pretending all the time, and it's
There's
just
always
like
somebody watching you.
yeah, like, and like I can never actually like do the work I want to do it because it's timed, and like I can never get anything done. Like both the online school, I had time to do everything on my own time. That sounds so confusing, but like it was like yeah, that's what it was. And yeah, and then like I did get it done in like 5 to 6 months. I cannot say the word months. It sounds like months.
It
No, I
doesn't
can't
matter.
say it.
This things probably make it sound bad anyways.
But
The mics.
yeah, it was just I got everything done quicker, and I didn't feel like pressured to do my work. Like I could do it at my own time and speed, and it was just a lot easier. And like the stuff that I was being brought to, the information that was on the online courses was more interesting than actual school work, because I feel like the actual schoolwork that I was doing in person school was just like repeated work that I learned about in like elementary school. Like it wasn't even like, I don't know, like it was just unnecessary, and like it just was not it. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, but like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my experience I've talked about briefly on the blog, so go check out the Language Journal blog if you haven't already, and the post that we're referencing. Basically, I was in person. I went to elementary school. We actually both came from like the same city or whatever, but we didn't go to the same schools. So I my experience was, I mean, I had friends in elementary school or whatever. It was cool, but my elementary school went to till 6th grade, and I didn't start middle school until 7th grade, and that was when hit. The COVID hit like a hurricane, and we all went hybrid. And we all went online, and that was the first time I actually got to go online. And I never thought about switching to online really until then. I mean, I don't think anyone really thought about switching online until COVID happened, where we had to go online. But that was when we had Google Meets and stuff, and I was like one of the only students who actually showed up. Like a lot of kids did not show up. Like they did not even go onto the meets. They didn't do their work, and that was that. I actually liked it. That was the first time I got like all straight A's, and I don't know. Re- I always look back fondly on that time when we had Google Meets and stuff because I did so well, and I didn't have to worry about going in class and like I don't know, worrying about like going in person. Like, I mean, I sat on my bed and I was on a meet, and at the time, I had a whole friend group, and we were just on meets all day, like literally all day, like during class and then after class, like. And I was not a part of any clubs or anything like that at that time because in middle school and like school, like at least in the city, like there's not that many sports and stuff. At least I didn't have any knowledge about sports or like clubs really happening. And like during COVID, I mean, they wouldn't have those anyways. But when I went back in 8th grade, I did do a few clubs, but like I literally got out of school like 3 or 4, and then like the clubs, like I didn't get home till like 5, and not many people stayed after school in middle school to do clubs, so it was not very entertaining. I don't know. I mean, I have fun doing them, but I don't know. It's just you see all the shows with like huge friend groups or whatever, and they're talking and like doing a bunch of stuff, but like they're not super like things are not like that. Going to high school, I really want to have a friend group, obviously, and I thought it was gonna be like High School Musical or something. Like if I was gonna be so great, like my expectations were not exceeded. It was very disappointing, and I actually was pretty depressed my first year. Best friend I had in middle school did not have any classes with me, and I was basically on my own because I also was in a completely different program. We were at the same school, but I was in a completely different academy. I know if anyone else is listening that like had academies in their school, they probably experienced probably not having the same classes as like a friend or whatever, and like you're just left on your own, and you're like, what am I gonna do? So I did not really get close with anybody in my classes either at that time frame. So it was just very depressing, even though I was in like a few clubs and like I also was in a sport. That was like probably the highlight of my year, freshman year. And a lot of people say the best year or favorite year was freshman year, but that was not the case for me. My favorite year was my sophomore year so far, and that was the year I did the most stuff, and I also found dance, and yeah, but it was just I haven't gone to go on to online, and ever since that time I've wanted to, and I actually was really close to switching online in like freshman year or like sophomore year, and I just didn't get the chance. So hearing someone else's story and like how they got to finish school early, like I am 17, she is 16, and she has already finished school, and I am just going to my senior year. So it's like it's very interesting how someone who's in the system and going through all these different changes with like the way that schools are run and like all the things that are like different and like transferring from like one school to another after being like online for like a year or whatever, going in person, like having all these different like things happen and like not any proper like guidance in that time. It's like a lot. So
Yeah.
with that, I want to talk about like personas and like a life after school, because like for like many people it's like there's like those stereotypes of like cheerleaders, jocks, and like nerds, and like that's not even like real. I mean, I feel like it
No.
is, but like
It's not.
on a very
Yeah.
downplayed level than like shows really like market them as. Like I don't know, it's like you might be a part of that category, but it's not as much of a big deal. And then like when you leave high school, like no one really cares like what you did, and like if you were one of those stereotypical things, and like with all the events and stuff like homecoming and like all that stuff, you miss out on that when you go online. And that's what kept me from going online, because I was at the time like really involved with the school, even though I didn't really have a friend group or like any like real connection to the school at the time. Like I was still a part of like a lot of the huge events and I didn't want to miss out on like homecoming and all that stuff. So like how did you feel like going online and like not going to do those things and like leaving early now and not getting to have like a senior year, quote unquote?
I didn't when I switched to online. I just did not want to be at school anymore. I never did go to any school thing or like I just was always in the back of the school. Like I never like cared for about school. The only really thing that I cared about was going to like actual stage graduation, which I could have gone to, but that was like all the way like nowhere near. But I didn't really. It kind of did feel like messed up because like all my old friends were like posting about it and stuff. But like at the end of the day, I don't care because like what would I would have really done there? Like I keep moving this. Oh my god, I wouldn't have really done anything there. And to be honest, because like all my so-called friends are not even my friends anymore. When I switched to online, they kind of just all dropped me. And when I was in school, they never really did anything at the school anyway, so it didn't really matter if I went to it or not because. And the school that I switched to didn't even do anything like any like homecomings or anything or that I knew of. But I did get to go to prom though, so
With me, moi.
and it actually it was fun, but like I don't get the like whole point of it though, because like I thought it was gonna be all that, all this bouginess and like all this nice, and then after like they play like the same two songs the whole thing,
Over and over.
and it wasn't even good songs either. It was like I don't even remember what it was. I just remember that what there was like a Justin Bieber song or something in there.
They played Fiend.
My
Everybody
God.
is everywhere right now is like obsessed with Fiend.
It
It's
was
literally a TikTok song.
that was
Like
so
it's nothing
cringy. I
good
was
about
literally
it.
just that was so
They
cringy.
had like a whole like dramatic mix
Everybody
up
was
to
like,
the lead up of it.
That was just
I
so
was like,
embarrassing.
sad.
Everybody and their mothers were jumping up and down to that song, and I was so embarrassed. I didn't really care that much to miss out on those stuff because I wasn't really even interested in going to it in the first place, so it didn't really matter. I just wanted to be done with school, and I did.
Yeah, where I'm at now, since I'm a senior, and I have transferred schools, I still don't really have like anything really tying me down to school, even more so now than I did like prior. I mean, what tied me down to staying at school was that I was interested in doing track, and now I'm not doing track anymore. I also just was interested in like doing like the clubs and stuff because at my old school there was a lot more clubs, and now this school has no clubs basically. I mean, at least outside of school. I seriously consider just switching online at this point because there's nothing really there for me. Like it's really depressing having to go there, wake up at like 5 a.m. to go there and sit through these lessons where teachers are just talking about like nothing like important. Like you're gonna forget most of the stuff you learn anyways. It was just a lot of the time I didn't have work to do. Like I literally sat for like an hour doing nothing. And like I could do that at home. So it's just really tiring and like I'm not really looking forward to like huge events. I mean, if I were I don't have people to really celebrate them with or whatever because I don't have any friends at my school like that. So, and people I am cool with, like, they're not looking to see if I'm going to an event or something. So, there's nothing really in the excitement of the event. Like, oh my God, go on a field trip. Like, okay, I could go on a field trip with my family. Like, I don't need to go on a school bus. I don't need to pay $100 to go to a dance that they're playing the same songs over and over and like pay 100 plus down on a dress or my nails or whatever. I mean, I seen the South, like they go all out and like good for y'all. But like here in the North, we have good education, but like I don't know. Depends where you are. It depends what school you go to and good education does not mean good fun. I think that's where like the South and like the North differ. Is like the South does not have very good education, but they get some good fun. And that's not how it is here, unfortunately. That goes into like more like the reality of the situation and like the system is just so corrupted. Like the way that they handle like situations and like problems is very problematic. Like I had experiences where I was given detention at my new school and I literally didn't really do anything wrong. And it's like they are like putting such rules on like phones and like having people like lock their phones away and stuff like that. And it's like I get it, like you're trying to make sure people are like learning or whatever, but like if a student is going out of the way to not listen or something, like that's their problem. Like they're responsible for their education. Like why do you care if someone's on their phone when they're doing an assignment? Maybe they're gonna do it later. Like you don't know what's going on. Like I don't know why they're putting such like a focus on like phones when the real problem is like you should be looking at is why are students going and opting to go on their phones during class? Probably because there's nothing to learn from the lesson. Probably because they're bored. Probably because there's nothing to do. Look at the reason why the students are behaving the way they are rather than the fact that they're behaving the way they are. And I feel like that's where we're at in the society, and that's the biggest problem. Is like even with like younger kids, like they'll like act out in class, and then they'll just like send them to like the principal's office or something. I remember in elementary school there was these few kids that like always had like temper tantrums, and they like run out of the classroom or throw desks or something, and like they
Oh
put
my
all their
god.
attention to that student, and it's like what about me that like literally is my work and like it's sitting here quietly, or not quietly, I talk a lot, but like sitting here and like doing nothing. They put the wrong attention on the wrong things, and they're not focusing on the cause of the issue, more so like the fact that the issue was even happening, and they put like students that are not problematic in like situations that's like unnecessary. I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't know. Did you have like an experience where it's like you were wrongfully accused of something?
I was trying to think because in elementary school I was not the best, so I don't know
She
why.
ran out of her school bell.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like everything that I got was rightfully deserved because I was ratchet. I don't know how else to say it. I was just not like I did my work and stuff, but like I just was always found myself doing something I wasn't supposed to do. But I don't in high school I didn't really like the teachers never really like did anything to me because I kind of was just always quiet. And if I was on my phone, they'd never even because like I kind of always sounded like the crevice of the classroom, so you couldn't really see me. So like I don't know. I don't. I'm trying to. I don't really remember. I don't really think maybe in middle school, but I don't really know. I don't think I had that kind of experience because I kind of was always not listening anyway. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like sometimes when they're trying to like over police like culture and like making sure that like everyone's kind of like following the rules, it's like you're targeting the wrong students for the wrong reasons. And you're not asking like why this is a problem. You're more just like, okay, you did this, then you're going to jail. You're gonna
right.
sit in a room with these fluorescent lights, not be able to touch the
Actually,
lights, sit at a desk by yourself, don't talk, do your work, or not even do work, just sit there because they don't even provide work.
have something that I just remembered. In
Yeah.
freshman year, I didn't come. I was always kind of like a little bit late to my first class, which was biology. But I did my work every single day. I got good grades in that class. I was doing my work all the time. And just because I was late, he made me do buyback where I had to sit in class at the end of the day till like 4 o'clock. And I didn't have a ride, so I had to walk home,
Oh
which
my
was
god.
a long walk. But all the other kids in that class that were like always not like they were always never doing their work, they never got no nothing, and only I had to come in there. Literally, I was the only one in the class. Nobody else was in there but me, and it was just so like kind of targeted because I don't understand what that issue was. And none of my other teachers said anything about my tardies, and like the tardies don't even really matter at the end of the day. It's more of the attendance. Like, what do you care about my tardies? Like, I did the
Yeah.
work. I do what you want me to do. Because I'm late to your class 5 minutes, you're making me do buyback for the rest of the year. Like that was so stupid. Like I don't. I'm glad I'm not there anymore. But
Yeah, that's a big problem. It's like they claim that like, oh well, you're such like a student, I'm trying to help you, whatever. You're helping me by putting a punishment on me
like,
for like the littlest of things. Like I'm such a good student, you should be not caring what I do because I do your work and I have good grades. Like
really,
I don't know why you care that I'm on my phone. Yes, it's against the rules, but like, am I hurting you? Is it hurting my grade? No. And like they're doing this to high school students. I mean, this whole post is targeted to high school and college students. I'm not in college. She's not in college. I'm not planning on college anytime soon. But like they're like doing this to high school students, and it's like they should be taking responsibility for their own actions anyways. Like they don't even tell parents sometimes. Like they just like do this under the radar. It's like I
he.
don't know.
I
But then they
know.
ask parents to be involved in everything else, and it's like how are you gonna be punishing kids that like are typically good or whatever, and they don't cause many issues, but it doesn't add up. But I mean, go off, I guess. And then the fact that the schools don't question the teachers' actions is even more concerning because they just immediately go to the student and like give them detention or whatever because the teacher said so. But then they don't ask the teacher how they navigated the situation. They don't ask them
Literally.
like, oh, well, how did you respond to the student doing this? They don't ask them any questions. They just immediately accuse and put the punishment on the student. And it's
And no matter what the student even says, they're always gonna believe the teacher, even if like most of the time, teacher is just lying just to make
mhm.
themselves seem better, and they don't even believe the student. It's just like it is like jail, basically. Like, what is this? Like, it like makes no sense at all. Like, I've always seen kids like that get like that kind of treatment, and it's just so like, are you serious? Like, it's just weird.
And I actually was gonna write about this in my like my school's magazine, but they put restrictions on what we can talk about. And for our last post, the administration wanted to be about something good about the school or something, or like related to the school, I guess, or at least my teacher did. And I wrote like there's something wrong with like putting ISS and like was it in school suspensions and like all this stuff like that detention is basically outdated because like in this day and age like what is detention gonna do? It's like
Literally.
you're putting me in a room separate from my class where I can't learn so that I can buy back some bad act I did in another teacher's class. Like you're making me miss out on other teachers' classes that I did nothing wrong in because this one teacher had a problem with me coming in late or because I was on my phone or this on the third. When like every other class you're good in and every other teacher is like, you're here?
Like,
What did you do? How'd you get here? I'm like, teachers are after me. The teachers are after me. I'm like, and then they want to say, well, I can give you special treatment, blah, blah. It's like, it's not special treatment. It's treating me like a human, and you know who I am, and you know how I am.
right.
So rules and regulations aren't everything. It's the person underneath that. Point blank, period. But as we try to wrap this up, because we actually have places to be, we had a fair to go to. Basically, we're gonna talk about like just the Bluey after graduation because she's graduated and I am almost graduating. So basically, you get like three options: go to college, get a job, or attend trade
That's
school.
literally what the essay was about.
And
That's
she wrote an
exactly what the
essay
essay was about.
about basically those options and arguing which is better or
It started with a D. It was like a D. It was a D word. It wasn't argumentative essay. It was something else. I don't remember what it was. But what was the question?
basically just like what you wrote about in my class.
I think I chose to get a job after because the other two because I want to go to college but then I don't because like my experiences with school already like I just feel like college is going to be like a whole nother like atmosphere that I'm going to have to get used to and it's going to be like it's just I don't know like I'm not ready for that and I don't even know I do know what I want to go to college for but I don't know if I want to like do it like you can go stay in a dorm or you can like
Yeah.
stay I don't know if I want to do that or what I want to do so it's just like I'm gonna wait for that because I can go to college at 16 but like it's just gonna be so weird doing
Yeah,
that so
because
like I'm not doing that but I wrote about to get a job after because I feel like it's more better to get a job so you can get money and like try and get yourself started for your future life instead of sitting there in college paying more money and not even being able to do like what are you gonna do after college when you're all broke and paying debt like you're not gonna be able to do
yes.
anything so it was better I feel like to get a job so you can save money for college if you want to go to it and get a car and like if you want to move out go move somewhere and like then you can start getting started on like your career and stuff but I feel like at this point like even McDonald's like just go work somewhere like it just to get like anything like I don't know and I feel like a trade I never had experience with trade schools or anything but from what I heard of with people that are in trade schools it's just I feel like or the one that I'm talking about is like stressful all the time and it's like not even like I don't know it's just I'm not even gonna get into that but like yeah I feel I chose to talk about getting a job because I feel like it's just better than the other two.
Yeah. Well, the option I chose is traveling, and that's not even an option. That is not marketed in America. They don't like market like, oh yeah, go explore and learn from doing necessarily on your own or whatever, or like some other platform like Europe does. Was kind of like they well not push, but like they encourage students to go on gap years and stuff like that, and look at the other like countries that surround them and stuff like that and that's just not seen as much in the United States. And even if you do go to college, like you're left more stuck than you were at 18 because you don't learn any of the necessary like things you can learn like budgeting, credit cards, debit cards, like jobs and all that stuff. You don't really learn that like unless you have a class on it. So it's really just like you're stuck no matter what you do. And it's like the bare minimum they could do is just teach basic skills. That's what
Yeah.
school should be for. And like with all of this, like high schools are just only really pushing college. I mean, especially in like rural areas. Like, I mean, if you're not in a city, like they don't really have many other things to offer you.
Right.
So it's like they just want you to go to college so that you can spend $1 billion. It's just like as a holding place for the undecided when like you should not even be allowed to go to college unless you are deciding on something. Like, why are you allowed to go into this institution and pay like $4,000 like plus just to sit there and learn a bunch of stuff you might not even need to know?
Literally.
And you have to go there and have like basic classes that may not be relevant to what you want to learn and like do basically high school all over again for the
Literally
first
what I
two
was
years
saying.
for the first 2 years and it doesn't make any sense and like it's only just so that they can make money
Right. like they don't, no school or like anything cares about the actual students that go to the school. They just care about money and like what they're gonna get out of it. Like they don't care if the student doesn't learn. They don't care if something's happening to the student. They don't care nothing. Like they only care about their benefit and what they're getting.
Yeah.
Like, and I get sometimes they're talking about, oh, teachers don't get paid enough, but like you chose this job, didn't you? Like I don't care. Like I have to come here on, like you have a choice to come here or not. I have to actually come here. What is that called? I don't know what it's called, but like it's just oh, it's just a messed up system.
And like it starts in high school. Like I mean, high school is a drawn out process. Like you don't even need to learn half the stuff you learn. Literally senior year, you have a bunch of free space. Like I only need one credit. I only need English. I technically, well, I need gym too, which that's a whole nother thing. Like, why are you making me have to run around for a grade
Literally, what does that have to do with me and my after school?
in my
Like,
brain? Like I get it, you're learning to like be healthy, whatever. That's why you have health class, which is also a
literally,
whole separate requirement. Health and gym are not the same requirement. You have to have both. Yeah. So I feel like gym should be an elective. It should not be required to make kids what healthy.
that makes no
Why do you have health
sense.
then? They're only supposed to learn how to be healthy and health so then they can be healthy on their own.
Like, why am I being forced to run around in a square? Like, what's the purpose? Like, I'm literally, that's so, like, it's just so stupid.
Like that's the class I just don't understand. And then here, and I used to be in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, you can do a sport and that can count as your health credit, which I feel like should be everywhere because in Connecticut, you can't do that. Like they don't have that option. Like if you do a sport, that doesn't count as your health class. You still have to be in school and walk around a track or like do some activity in gym, which doesn't make any sense. I'm getting more done in my sports like thing. Like I'm actually working out more in my sport than I am in gym.
literally.
So why am I not getting credit for that? But needless to say, like literally high schools even provide like FAFSAs and like college application like what's it called like workshops and stuff like that. But they don't like do the same for like jobs or like anything related to what I said before, which you actually need to know to survive. And it's just unfortunate. Like they have some schools that have like trades like in high school where you can learn a trade, which is useful. And then but then they have like college classes and APs, which may be useful, may not. If you don't go to college, it's not useful. And they're not on topics that are actually relevant. So I don't know. But wrapping this up, basically just what we just said. Like college should not be like a gateway to like adulthood. Should not be glamorized, or like high school shouldn't even be glamorized because they're like systems that are so flawed and leave students just even more lost than they begin with. And like instead, they should be allowed to like go to homeschool or like online school. Like that should be more like marketed. I feel like there should be more opportunities for people to go remote so that they can learn on their own time and like complete things faster. And like just the system needs to be revamped to like actually make it so like the younger generations can succeed because most people who are going to college now they can't even guarantee a job. Like most
Literally.
Gen Zers are not going to college now, anyways. So they're losing funding and they can't even provide funding for students to attend because they're losing funding. How ironic is that? So it's just like, what is the purpose? And then also just like fall into that as soon as you turn 18 because they want money from you. But like you can homeschool and like start a business and then be like way
Literally.
richer than your counterparts that are coming out of college at 21. It's like it makes more sense to just go the opposite route. But I mean, that's all I got. Do you have something to end with?
In school, you're just like trapped for 6 hours, just like, and it's not needed to be in the school building for that long to get work done. Like, I really don't understand that. And at home, I got my work done for the day that I needed to do in like 2 hours or 3 hours, and it was not like, it was just more easier. And then I had the rest of the day to do stuff for me that I wanted to do. And now that I'm finished with the school, like I feel like you were saying, like you can start a business or whatever. And I feel like I have, now that I'm only 16, I have my 2 years until I'm 18 to figure out what I actually want to do with myself, and like learn how to do things for my career and like stuff like that, instead of being in school and like being forced to do work that I don't want to do. And then when I turn 18, I have to do like what I'm doing now, if that makes sense. But like, I don't know,
Yeah,
like
repeating.
it's just time consuming. Actual school is more, yeah.
Yeah, like it's taking 8 hours of our lives away, but like you can get done with that a lot faster. Doesn't make sense. But that's this episode. But go check out the Anomaly Journal at theanomalyjournal.com and my Instagram at your girl my Jocelyn and the YouTube. Unless you're watching this on YouTube, then hit subscribe and also was it like the podcast episode or like the YouTube video. I don't know what is it. Download and stream. I don't know. Do that, and I'll see you next one. Stay anomalous.